Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey, users and subscribers, welcome to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. So, everybody should be aware by now that Adriana Younge had passed her exams for the Lenora Secondary School. She got such amazing scores on her subject breakdown. If you take a look at this image right here. And yes, this was something that she promised her teacher that she was going to deliver, and her family would have been so proud of this promising young lady. But in addition to that, Adriana posthumously has been given a position on the honor roll of the Parika Salem Primary School. Boy, this child had such a bright future that had been cut short. But look at brilliance. Just take a look at this image right here. We are so proud of whom Adriana was aiming to become and the young lady that she was before she passed. This child had everything going for her. And I truly hope that despite the silence of the family currently as a result of the legal processes that must take place, I really and truly hope that the family do not give up hope or faith in achieving justice for her. Now, I wish to correct some information that has been put out with errors on the internet with regards to the other two missing girls from Guyana. Now, according to this post, the missing person is in fact Serenity Paris and not Tiffany Paris. Tiffany Paris is the mother of the 15-year-old that has been missing since last Tuesday, and she has already made a report at the station. She has requested that if anyone finds any kind of clue about where her daughter is or has seen her daughter, that they contact her on 600-2644 Guyanese code or the nearest police station. This is in fact the true image of Serenity Paris, who is missing. That 15-year-old is still missing. There was a story about the fact that she left home. She went to the hospital with a friend, okay? There is also this young girl. Her name is Tanisha Pollard. She's 14 years old. She was also missing at the same time as Serenity Paris. They both went together to this hospital and never returned. So we do still have two girls from Guyana who have yet to have been found. Please make contact with Ashmoon Khan. The number is on my screen, 687-5213, or to the nearest police station in Guyana. So, I am still very conscious that these two girls have been missing for some time, and there's very little outrage about this. The information is out there, but we're hearing no updates. We're seeing no updates from the parents with regards to what is going on. They've been missing from around the 17th of June, okay? And once again, they were on their way to the best hospital and have not returned home since, and the whereabouts remain unknown. Now, I did take some time to look into the children's background and find whatever I could. Tanisha Pollard has been in the news before. Now, I want to just draw your attention to this article, which involves the mother. Ashmoon Khan has 6 children. That's the mother of Tanisha Pollard. And this lady lost her husband, who was a fisherman. His name was Enville Pollard. He was also called Elvis or Rastaman. And he died in terrible circumstances, tragic circumstances. He was, in fact, shot and killed on the 29th of January in 2015. In this article, Tanisha herself expresses her grief that her father was a good man and how much she missed him. It was clear from this article that the family was in an extremely vulnerable place, and I do hope that they managed to achieve some justice for what took place with Tanisha's father. So, given the history of this and the fact that this girl is now 14 years old and missing, I've got some red flags going on here. I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but I'm just hoping that they manage to find her, right? And I do hope that it's not in tragic circumstances and that she's found alive and well. We do need to keep an eye out for these two girls. Now, the case of Janelica Romney continues to enrage and just devastate the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. There is an unrelenting outrage from the masses, not just because of who the perpetrator is, but also because of the entire society and how they stood by and did absolutely nothing. Now, just to break down a bit more information about this case. This is the man whom was the predator responsible for the loss of Janelica's life. This evil, wicked 64-year-old by the name of Selwyn Pringle of Deep Bay, he was charged with the kidnapping and the false imprisonment in connection with her disappearance. Now, he's currently obviously under investigation for her murder. He's also known as Judge by those who are familiar with him. However, what struck me about this case is the fact that many knew that this individual, from his youthful days, was a pedophile. He targeted minors throughout the community, unrelentingly. And they were also aware that many times the teenager, Janelica, was actually by his home, leading up to the date of her death. This unhealthy familiarity had gone unchecked and unchallenged, both by her parents and by members of the community who knew what was going on with that man. Sickeningly, this man was actually present and on site when the search took place and helped family members and community to find the body, or at least to search for the body. He aided in the distraction of the search to throw people off the trail of where she was actually located until he finally gave in and showed where she was. Janelica's mother, Kalilia, had received a lot of backlash during this whole time. And this particular influencer is asking for mercy for that mother while she grieves her child, because she realizes that it was not just the parents who failed, but also the society who stood by and did nothing. So take a listen to this video and do let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. I know a lot of y'all guys waiting to hear what I have to say in regards to Janelica's body being found and so forth. Of course, y'all know I was one very vocal. I was one asking many questions, what is going on and so forth. First of all, it's something happened that we all did not expect and we didn't want to happen. The first thing I have to do, I'm not too big to apologize. Kalili, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And if my videos or posts made you feel any kind of way, I ask for your forgiveness. I'm not here to cast no blame on nobody, because nobody knows how it feels until it hits your door. And a lot of us don't be the first to talk, and we knows nothing. We talk a lot of nothing. Kalili, I'm so sorry, and I don't know what to say to you as a mother. Now, I'm going to throw the blame where it belongs. Us, society. You know why I throw the blame where it belongs? Us. All of we knew what was going on. According to all the rumors here, there, and everywhere, we all knew. And nobody do nothing. Nobody say nothing. Now I understand it's very difficult, because sometimes when you talk, the same parents them they turn around and cuss you and say you're too fast and this. I've had experience with that. I've had experience with that. And I heard Jamie say on the radio yesterday, you know, we as a society, we need to see things and talk. People have talked, but look how we go. Look how we went. The people them still with them and abuse you and people deem you as a troublemaker. Right? But let me get on to the meat of the matter. Since Thursday, I got confirmation that Janelica was dead. I knew she was dead. I knew they were hunting for a body. I knew. I was tipped off. I knew. I also know that the Godfather was telling them body here, body there, body there, body here. He was carrying them around and around in a circle. I don't know what they did to get him to talk yesterday, but whatever they did, kudos to the police. Now I'm going to back up a while. You see what rumors that do? Rumors that cause problems. When Janelica disappeared, all of us, oh, she gone by a man. Oh, she did, she that. Janelica disappeared since the Monday. But nobody knew and took anything serious until that guy came out and did the video with Shaq. A lot of you drag Shaq, but Shaq opened up a lot of things. And he made our eyes open wide. Now I'm going to back up from credible information that I got. It's hearsay because it's second-hand information. According to what happened, according to what I was told, when Janelica disappeared and they questioned the Godfather, he said that he dropped off Janelica by the ferry terminal with his friend on the Friday by his family. And everybody took that because you're accustomed to do it. Seems credible, and he was very convincing. Only to find out when the guy came out and talked and said, no, the Monday he was Janelica. When they went back and questioned him, he changed his story and said, oh, he mixed up the dates and he ain't see Janelica, and he was so convincing. His family, according to what I was told, is who started the rumor saying Janelica run away with the guy to Anguilla. They were the one starting the police because they all had suspect. That's why I said the police should lock up all of them. Lock them up. Make them pay. Because a child is dead. A child who needed our help. They misled us with the load of rumors and the load of stuff. And they and us, society, is responsible. Because we ran with the rumors. We ran with them. No. Again, I apologize to the mother and the family of Janelica. I'm sorry. Even though they weren't forthcoming and so with certain information, at least to us, they were forthcoming with the information to the police. And that is what matters. Right? However, the police see fit to handle it, they did. When all are we talking Janelica in Anguilla, Janelica here, Janelica don't want to be found, Janelica this. Janelica was being tortured and murdered. She was being tortured and murdered. Now they found she body. And the rumors still are going on. Let me tell you something. Shut up. Shut up. Be big about it. Apologize. And just hush. Khalili is going to deal with what she has to deal with eventually. But now is not the time for us to break down Kalili any further. I'm sure she has enough to deal with right now. A dead child, and it's her only child. And from what I understand, from what I heard, Kalili has had other children that she lost early at birth. They didn't live long. This is the only one, it's her only daughter. We don't know what's going on in Kalili's head. And it's obvious that Kalili is not very like us. You know, she can't talk, she can't express herself properly. And hey, what us to say, well, Kalili didn't break down, Kalili. We don't know what was going on behind closed doors. I'm told that the father is even slower than Kalili. Our family needs us right now. And all I am saying, ease off. Ease off with the rumors. Ease off with the blaming and so. Put the blame where it belongs. Us. Because we always know and we're not doing nothing about it. We always know and we just watch. Oh, hey, me try. Oh, hey, me this. Oh, me that. We failed. We failed as a society. We failed. Instead of sending the information that we had that could have saved Kalili's life, because the whole of they know that Kalili used to be down there with judged. The whole of they know that Judge is a pedophile since in his young days. Judge used to be on a bike up and down, trying to finesse everybody's daughters in school. I soon hit the 50s, very soon. And I remember Judge doing that. Well, you see, we don't know who the pedophiles be, we don't know who everybody be, but we don't do nothing because he ain't hit with the head. I hope you all realize how things going. Each one of the Caribbean islands experiencing this. And it's too often. This is my plea. If you know something, say it. And my God, right now, Kalili don't need all of this. Ease up. Go and inspect ourselves and see what part we played in this damn mess. Oh God.
Now, what's saddening about this case is the fact that the man who was arrested was in fact the godfather of this little girl. He was arrested the day before she was located, and many believe it's due to the questioning that was done at the station to this man. Now, we await, as I said, the final outcome of the investigation, but it's important to note that there were several failures that led to the delayed finding of this child. First of all, there was a CCTV failure. It had taken 2 weeks to locate this child. 2 weeks. And had it not been for the year-long blackout on the Northern Corridor, the national CCTV network could have proven crucial in the investigation. The 12-mile stretch that senior officers call a digital blind spot is where her body was located. And had those cameras been active, it is highly likely that they would have been able to trace exactly where she was taken. Hopefully, it would have been before she had been killed. In addition, there were resource issues. Multiple officers alleged that pleas for overtime, additional search teams, and mobile command posts were repeatedly denied in the crucial first 72 hours of the investigation. They were basically told no funds for all of these things. St. Kitts basically believes that this was a preventable tragedy, one where technology that was designed precisely for such types of crises has been allowed to lay dormant for far too long. So I indeed completely understand where this influencer is coming from. A lot of systems, the society on a whole, had failed Janelica. It was not just about the parents. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush when it comes to parental responsibility because, as I said before, a lot of these things are as a result of slack parenting, not being vigilant or proactive in order to prevent certain situations from happening. There's no way that this man, Judge, should even have been the godfather of this girl. There should have been no relationship, no communication, considering his psychological illness, where he has a penchant for attraction to minors. This individual should never have been around this girl to the point where she got so comfortable that she could be around his house. Where is the parental accountability for recognizing that? Listen, I dropped the ball and I allowed this man to have access to my child. Now, of course, we're going to say no is not the time, but these are the thoughts that's going to be going through that mother's mind while she mourns the loss of her only child. We as people, we need to take this as a lesson before things become too late. If you know that there is a person in your family that has these behavioral tendencies, keep your children far away from them and keep them away from your children. Boy or girl, don't facilitate it. Okay, we're gonna divert now away from the J4V movement, the Purple Heart movement stories, and we're going to just give you a little update on a rather popular character from Trinidad, Asha Samaroo. Now, Asha Samaroo, she basically broke the internet after the passing of Yank boss Kevon, who died in tragic circumstances in Trinidad. Yes, Asha Samaroo came out and she did go out with herself. And remember, she was drinking up the champagne and actually celebrating the demise of Kevon. Now, we have done a whole history on Asha Samaroo on this channel before. So if you're interested in knowing more about her story, you can go backwards through my videos and you pick up on some of the topics that we've covered. In fact, one of the things that we covered about Asha is that she had made several racist and derogatory comments out here towards people of African descent, using, descriptions of black people like monkey and, all of that kind of things, in an attempt to insult others. So this individual, I wouldn't say is necessarily one of my favorites, for the record. However, she did have a recent breakdown on social media. And I know lots of people missed that video, so I am actually going to show you the video and then I'm going to give you an update as to what's happening with Asha Samaroo. Take a look.
I'm not in a very good place right now. I'm just so broken and I don't know what to do. I'm so tired of this life. I'm so tired of everything in my life. I just want to end it all. I just want to end it all. I'm tired of everybody has hurt me and do me what they want to do to me. And when I react to people's reaction, I'm the wrong one. I'm just so tired of this life. I'm just so tired. I just want to end it. I just want it to end. I just want it to end. I just can't take no more. I can't take. Oh God, somebody help me, please. Somebody help. I just can't take no more. I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of trying.
A very, very sad video indeed. And I've had this video for a very long time, people. Don't think I've just had it. I've had it for ages and I've deliberately not posted it. Because sometimes when you are at your lowest, that's not the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's clear that Asha was going through a lot here. Now, I know there is a long-term feud between herself and the Yankers online. And I think, in situations like this, we have to set aside those social media beefs and look at raw human emotions and the things that people go through in order to develop empathy. So, yes, this was a very distressing video, but Asha has come out and she has now explained what this is all about. And I'm pleased to see that Asha is in a much better place. Take a listen to what Asha has to say as to why it is that she went through this devastating time in her life.
And I know I haven't been live in a while because I've been going through a lot. You know, you never know where life takes you, right, girls? And I know a lot of us out here, we go through a lot and we share our experiences with other women. And I will always encourage you guys to share your experience with other women. I'll always encourage you guys to do that, right? My husband and I have been married for 24 long years. We built a beautiful life for ourselves. We worked very hard. And we built a beautiful life for ourselves. And people grow apart. They do grow apart. I know for the people like who go to church and stuff would say things like, God don't like divorces, God don't like broken marriages, work on your marriage, work on your marriage. And sometimes we would think we're doing everything that we feel is right to work on our marriage, and we feel we don't need help. We feel we don't need counseling. We feel we don't need a third party to, you know, give us therapy or anything like that. And I know, I just woke up. And it hurts because I love my husband. I put him on a pedestal. I always thought we were unbreakable. You know, I always thought that I was everything to him and he was everything to me. And again, life takes you different places. I have not been myself. I've cried a lot. I went into a state of depression last year when I found text messages on his phone with the administrative assistant who worked with him. And it broke me, girls. It broke me. It wasn't to shame my husband, or it wasn't to ill-speak my husband or anything whatsoever, because I will never ill-speak my husband. I will speak about the hurt. And it really hurt me when I found those text messages, and I couldn't get over it. I couldn't. I tried very hard. I went to therapy. I went into a state of depression where I tried to commit suicide. You all saw that, you know, and coming out of the hospital, I still had to focus on my home, on my children. I still had to get up and get dressed, and I still had to be a mom, and I still was a wife, you know. And the arguments didn't stop there. I would keep asking for more affection, more love from him. I would ask him, you know, hug me a little more. Why can't you be open and honest? And he saw it as an argument. Everything he saw as an argument. We don't cuss and fight in our home. We don't do that, right? I argue, like, you know, asking questions, and he sees it as an argument. And it got from bad to worse in the last week. It got really bad, from bad to worse. And it just reached a point where it's like it's not repairable anymore, right? And we filed for divorce. Our divorce hearing is next week. He's fighting for custody for our son and child support. Okay. I mean, that sounds kind of strange because I didn't expect him to do something like that. And I don't want our son, because Aiden is underage, I don't want our son to be dragged into something where we spent 24 years of our life because he's bitter, he's resentful, and he's angry and hurt or whatever. We all are humans. No one is perfect, and we all have anger. We have bitterness, resentment, and hate in our hearts. But you don't hold on to that. And, you know, coming to divorce, I always thought my husband and I would be civilized. I never thought he would be like that, where he would fight for custody and child support and all those things, because, I mean, it is the law that one parent has to have the kid. But you don't have to fight in court for custody in America. You can go to a lawyer and you can go to mediation. It's not to make up or anything. Mediation is where you both come to an agreement, civilized. And I don't want to fight for custody for our son. I would have preferred that our son be able to move freely between his mom and his dad, where he doesn't have to say, okay, weekends for you, 30 days for you in summer vacation. And I don't know why he's being so wicked and so nasty, because that's something we never fought for. We never had violence in our home. anything whatsoever. And, you know, I'm like, why? Why would you do that? I'm not fighting for anything, girls. I know a lot of you say, hey, Asha, you know, people get angry and they want to fight and they want to clean out the man, and they don't want the man to have nothing, and they don't want to have the woman nothing. I am not like that. In the state of Texas and most places in America, it's called community property. And this is just for educational purposes for women. So anything that is acquired in the marriage goes half and half. I'm not fighting for anything that isn't mine. I'm not fighting at all for nothing. Whatever the court says is mine, and rightfully and legally that I am entitled to, I am happy and contented. Because I'm not a woman about money. I'm not a woman about status in life. I am happy, crazy, fun-loving, loud, crazy. That's who I am. I love life. I love fun. I can't take on stress. I can't take on hurt because it triggers me. It triggers all my life experiences. And, you know, I tried to commit suicide twice. And, you know, I'm getting the help. You know, I'm going to therapy. I'm seeing my therapist. I'm learning. I'm on medication trying to balance that, what you call it, in your brain, so that you wouldn't think unhappy thoughts, that those thoughts would not make you think that you don't have a reason to live. It's called the serotonin and the whatever. When one is less and one is more, I don't know about that, right? So we filed for divorce, and our case is next week before the courts. Again, girls, I don't know why he is like that, fighting for custody of our son, and I don't want that. I have my attorney, and I tell her I don't want our son having to choose who to live with. I don't want a court to be telling us Aiden has to spend 20 days with his father, a weekend with his father. I want, if Vish wants to pick up Aiden and said, hey, can I get Aiden to go movies? Sure, go right ahead. I want, if he wants, hey, let's Aiden and I go to another state to a football game, I must be able to say, sure, go right ahead. You are his father. I trust you with him. But I don't know who advised him, or why is he being wicked to that, like that to me, knowing that mentally and emotionally that I'm not in a good place, and, you know, I'm not a threat to our child, never been. And why it is he's trying to add more stress and hurt towards me. And it's not a nice thing. It's very hard. I've been getting a lot of support from the community, from people on, you know, you guys on my WhatsApp. My mom is here. She's crying every day to see me like this. And I tell her I'm fine. You know, I have my days that I cry. I'm not superwoman. I'm a human being. And I spent 24 years of my life with this man. And I trusted him. That's the problem there. I trusted him. And I know a lot of you ladies would say, Asha, trust God. Don't love a man more than you love yourself. And God created man and woman to have a bond. And I know God doesn't like divorces. The devil likes that. And I know that, you know, marriage is not about love. It's not. It's about consistency. It's about staying when times get harder. It's about supporting each other. It's about not giving up. But my husband is a man, he don't know how to deal with my emotions. He shuts down, he gets angry, he gets defensive, he jumps in his trucks and he leaves me crying. He doesn't comfort me. And I love him, and it pushes him away and it pushes me away. And the kids, both kids ask him, both of us actually, they ask both of us, why can't we take some time away from each other, you know, just separate or whatever. And, you know, both of you take therapy and work on yourselves and don't just give up, because the kids don't want us to divorce. The kids don't want to leave the house. Aiden said he wants to live in this house, but we have no say. That is for the courts. If Vishnu can buy me out, he can buy me out and pay me my half. But I don't want the house because I don't have an income to support the mortgage or the quality of upkeeping the house. I mean, I do all the painting in the house. You girls saw that I paint 100 feet of fence. You also, I sand my entire living room. I have corn and calluses in my hand. You saw I paint my own house. I upkeep our home. We don't pay people to do that. I have done that because I have been home, you know. But I told my attorney I don't want the house. I want him to pay me my half and let me go my way.
Now, I really don't know who is advising Asha for her legal purposes, because Asha, this video in itself is quite damning. How you are aware that your partner is now trying to fight for custody of the children. Don't you think a big thing that he will use against you is the fact that he believes that you are mentally and emotionally imbalanced and therefore incapable of coping with stress? And children bring stress. And he is going to argue that your mental health is a huge reason why he believes he can provide a more balanced home for the children, a more secure and stable home. The fact that you have tried to take your life more than once is evidence in itself, because that, while you may not be a threat to the children directly, means that you are a threat to their emotional stability, period. Because no child wants to imagine that when their mother gets depressed or sad, this could be a possibility. So he has got good grounds to stand on to fight for those children and to actually win. Now, I am hearing that Asha is feeling as though she had an emotionally bereft marriage, meaning that the husband never showed her the same reciprocal love that she did. But what I hear a lot from Asha's perspective is that she has got these emotional, traumatic things from the past that sometimes resurfaces and results in her wanting a lot more attention than the ordinary. In other words, Asha, you sound more as though you were clinging to your husband for emotional sustenance, and he clearly eventually found it draining. I know that with a marriage, husband and wife are meant to be half and half, and they're also meant to be supportive of each other in their weakest moments. But that can take a toll when it goes on for years and years and years. We have had many situations of you getting to that point of depression online. So I can only imagine what's happening inside the house. Remember, there was a video where you placed one of your attempts on your life on a live. And I won't play that one, obviously, for YouTube purposes. But that is something that is a permanent tattoo in the minds of your children, that you are, or at least you were, so emotionally fragile that you never thought that even they were good enough for you to live on for. So when you say these things, I know you are getting treatment. It doesn't sit well in terms of a resilient parent who can cope with life stresses in a way that still keeps them protected and stable. Anyway, we're going to listen to exactly what it is that Asha found in the phone, why it is that she has decided to file for divorce.
So bottom line, girls, I'm sharing this with you all because I know a lot of you all are concerned about me, but I am okay. I take it one day at a time, and I pray. I pray God to give me the strength to get through with this. I can't force someone to love me. I can't force someone to text me nice things the way he texts another woman. I can't force someone to show me affection when I'm crying for it. If someone cannot give it to you, don't force it. Don't. It means they don't love you anymore. And I don't know. That's not me. I don't just wake up one morning and stop loving someone. And no matter what he did to me, I still love him. I didn't give up on us. And I still hang on there because I saw the good in us. I saw the greatness we achieved in our lives. I saw what we worked for. I saw the love we shared with our children. And I guess money or position in life and the approval of people got to him, to his head, I don't know. And maybe little old crazy Trinidadian me don't fit into his profile of success and status in life. I don't know. I don't know what it is, because if a man hurts his wife and you love your wife, wouldn't you want to comfort your wife? Wouldn't you want to hug your wife, to reassure your wife? And he tell himself that he was doing that. But he never did. He would say, I love you, and he would give the bare minimum. And if I asked for more than the bare minimum, it became an argument for him. He thinks I'm arguing, nothing's never good enough for me. And he started putting me down. He started treating me like I'm stupid. I made a mistake and I read the bank statement wrong. And he said to me, you're so stupid, you must learn to read, you must learn to read. And I'm looking at my husband, you never spoke to me like this in 23 years. And I said to him, the women that work with you, if they make a mistake when they come to your office, do you speak to them like that? Do you put them down and belittle them like that? And he never answered. When I ask him why you can't show more affection, he never answers. He's always the silent treatment and makes me feel like if I am the one that is the problem. And I am the one that begging and crying, why you can't, tell me why you can't be more affectionate, tell me why, tell me if you don't love me, tell me, be open, be honest, have a conversation with me. And he could never have a conversation. He always jump in his truck and he leaves me. He leaves the kids and I, and he goes. When I went into a state of depression and I tried to kill myself, he drowned himself into work and he never visited me in the hospital. He abandoned me. He never brought clothes for me. He left me there. I should be the one hating and want a divorce and not forgiving, right? And he never took a day off from his job or a personal day. And he left our son Aiden alone in this house, abandoning our son, and asked the neighbor across the street to take care of our son. And people on social media called CPS from me. I'm in the hospital, I'm going through a depression. What could I do for my son? He has another parent, and his other parent didn't show up for him, right? I am working on me and showing up still for my kid, still cleaning my house, still cooking my husband food when he worked down to Corpus Christi, when he's in his apartment, I cooking food and sending all week for him. I'm still going and picking up my son 10 o'clock in the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm waiting by the school. Where is my husband? He isn't there. And I am going through all of this and I'm still showing up for my kid. And he jumps in his truck and he leaves. Right? He left our son alone in this entire house for an entire week, alone. And he thinks just calling him was okay. He didn't think emotionally what it did to our son. He didn't think how it affected Aiden. That he just saw his mom wheeled out in an ambulance. And he don't have any emotional support. And that's the problem with my husband. He don't know how to be emotionally supportive to his family. He runs at the first sight of affection. When you ask for affection or he thinks that he's been cornered or asked for more, he shuts down. And maybe that's a problem with him. Maybe he needs to get some therapy or some help. But you don't be bitter and hateful and resentful to your family that you had for 24 years. And it's very hurtful, girls, because now I understand women and men, because I went through a divorce before and I was not so nasty to my husband. Never. I left because of domestic violence and my first husband, and he had nothing. So he had nothing to ask the court for. All I wanted was a divorce and to be left alone. I never took nothing from my ex-husband. He never gave me anything. He paid child support. I got full custody of our children. He didn't pay child support. I had to cry by the court in Princestown in Trinidad for child support. My children grew up. And they didn't grow up with a lavish life. They grew up, I worked 2 jobs and I took care of my children until I met Vish. And Vish helped with my 2 older children. And that's why I don't understand. Why did this man become like this? We were not like this. And from the time I found these text messages, my whole life turned upside down with my husband. He said, I told you I have nothing to do with the woman. I didn't fuck the woman. I'm not in love with the woman. What more you want? Nothing is good enough for you. And I tried to show him that those messages broke me. Those messages, if she said good morning, the right thing as her senior, you should have said good morning. You shouldn't tell the woman, this is the perfect start to my day. That was my husband's response to her. She texted my husband and invited my husband to a game. My husband said he didn't know he was invited. Now that you invited me, I'll make the time to come. Tell me, how am I supposed to feel for that? She texted my husband and told my husband she's coming to a meeting in Corpus Christi. My husband asked her, would I get to see you before you leave? Right? She said, everyone's just trying to rush out here. He said, okay, what building are you in? I have a 1 o'clock meeting. I'll run down quickly. He showed her his time and affection. She's a married woman. She's a secretary. You are her senior. I am your wife. He didn't show no respect for his job. He didn't show no respect for his wife. And he hates me for speaking about it. He hates me for having feelings. He thinks that I shouldn't speak about it and I shouldn't feel hurt about it. He saw her on a Zoom meeting. She was going to give a cake or something to the senior vice president for his birthday. My husband texted her during this Zoom meeting and said, jealous. And she said, LOL. I got roped into this. You know I don't like to be filmed. My husband said, look on the bright side. I get to see you. You sure look happy. How do I supposed to feel for that, ladies? How? Then my husband said to her, I miss you. She's your secretary where you used to work. How could you miss your secretary and you didn't miss all the other ladies? And she started pursuing my husband. Pursuing my husband with comments, with putting heart emojis, texting him. He telling her, stay warm, get a jacket. She's telling him, did you get a good night rest? Pray in your meeting, go good. And I have all those text messages, girls. It's no lie. And those things broke me. It made me angry. It made me hurt so badly. I went into a state of depression. And all I asked him if he was sorry, to show me he's sorry. But he hated me for speaking about my hurt. And he resented me for speaking about it. Right? And it just went from bad to worse. It just went from bad to worse. And this is where we are at today.
Boy, Asha, it sounds as though your husband was finding comfort in an uncomplicated relationship. Uncomplicated meaning that no strings attached, both having some flirtatious fun that, gave him a spark. He was able to shut down from her whenever he wanted to, reach out to her and have a laugh whenever he wanted to. It was purely on his terms. It is clear that your husband was in the process of forming some kind of relationship with this woman. Possibly he never slept with her at all. It is possible. And, there has been no physical contact. But you never know. Especially as you were saying that he used to work with this secretary. All of those texts were inappropriate. It's not the worst thing that I've heard. Many women have forgiven their men for less. But it is about your standards and what you expect from your partner, your life partner. And if you are pouring all of your love into someone and they are busy being distracted by another female, then you've got a problem. But like I said, I think he finds Asha's love overwhelming. I think he finds her emotional dependency overwhelming. And hence the reason why he shuts down. He probably feels like he cannot tell her exactly how he feels because he fears how that might drive her to the edge. And he does not want to be responsible for her making some kind of decision to take her own life again as a result of him expressing his truth. So this divorce is going to show you exactly what your husband is about and how he has felt for all this time. We do wish Asha, continued healing and restoration. And, if things work out for her so that she's able to keep her home and somehow do something to get the right income, then that would be wonderful. It's terrible when you have to disrupt the home that you've built around your family, and your children are definitely going to feel it. But there are lots of reasons why I would imagine that he's filing for custody for those kids. And your emotional health is a part of it. It's going to be a very strong part of his case. But you do have a case in terms of making sure that you walk away with what you are deserved, which is 50% or whatever you choose to fight for, if you are planning to fight at all. So if you have made it this far in this episode of Heart Talk with HTK. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Don't forget to check that bell. Just in case I upload a video, you will be notified. Big up your nice clean self. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.